10 quick comic picks. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our real quick show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that are coming out this week to your local comic book store, and there are some awesome ones
hmm
there. So head on over to infinityflux.net. You can follow along. The books are up there live right now where you can pre-order them while supplies last. And some of these you do not want to miss out on
Definitely.
because this is a really cool week of books. Uh, with one of my favorite ones I'm going to be kicking us off with, which is Aquaman #1. I've been waiting so long for this. It's been so long since an Aquaman series. This one, I love the creative team. It is by Jeremy Adams and John Timms. Jeremy Adams, I love his run on Flash and then Green Lantern. John Timms has history of awesome work
Yep.
with like Harley Quinn and so many awesome things. And this is a great jumping on point. Even if you've never read Aquaman, this is post Absolute Power. Aquaman's powers, much like a lot of superheroes, have been switched. This time it appears they've switched with Mara. He now has the ability to control water kind of kinetically and create constructs, that kind of thing. Not sure if Mara got his powers or
Yeah, I don't
not. I
know.
don't know if it's a one for one switch, but he's learning to use these powers and just getting back to being the king of Atlantis. It's kind of a boring job until a strange item appears that someone brings him that may throw Atlantis and maybe even something bigger into craziness, as this does have like direct ties from the DC All In special, and it seems like this is going to have big ramifications for maybe even the stuff going on with Darkseid.
Yeah.
So very awesome issue here. One of the best All In titles so far. I can't wait for the next one. So that is Aquaman #1.
Next up, we've got Absolute Batman #4, and this is a bit of an interlude to the story that they've been telling so far. This is kind of like Absolute Batman Year One, and we see bits of Bruce as a kid talking to his dad about what fascinates him about bats and why he used them in his bridge design that we know he won an award for back in issue #1. And we also see Bruce's first few days, weeks as Batman, and we see that his idea for Batman originally was much, much different, and he grew and evolved that over time as he realized that he needs to stop crime at the source with the people who allow it to happen rather than just the common street thug. So, a very nice look into this new Batman and kind of how he became what we've seen him now.
Next up, another new one shot, not one shot, but a single character X-Men book. This is Magik #1. I was very excited about this one. I love Magik. And this was cool because this is still set, Magik is working with the X-Men in Alaska, but it kind of diverges from there when there are some strange attacks that are going on in Juneau, Alaska, where it seems like some beast or something is targeting mutants, and Magik, to get away from some of the X-Men's shenanigans, decides to go on a solo trip to help this out. But this leads to something even bigger that may involve her Dark Child persona that she's been trying to suppress, and a strange kind of prophecy and all that kind of stuff. So what starts out as just kind of a off-the-cuff mission is going to turn into a big Magik story. So very cool #1 for Magik.
Next, we have The Lucky Devils #1, a new book from Image, and this is from Charles Soule and Ryan Brown, the team that brought you 8 Billion Genies, among other great books. And this is about a couple of regular human people. They're very, very nice, but they're both having really bad days. And it's revealed to them that their bad days is because of the devils that they have on their shoulder that apparently everyone gets when they are young. And we meet these two devils here, Collar and Rake, and they want to kind of take a shortcut up the ladder of devil society, basically, and they want to make these two humans more powerful and influential, and by doing that, they will increase their own status. So it does have that 8 billion genies feel. It's not connected, but it does still feel like that. It's very fun. These characters are really cool, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
A new, very different indie book is When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee, which is really cool. It feels like it's not connected to like the Mignola verse because this is Boom and that's Dark Horse, but it feels like that kind of spirit when we meet a priest who has, because of an accident, ended up in jail and has kind of given up on everything when a cardinal comes to him and basically is like, hey, I know someone, you might have a way out of this. but it's very unconventional. There's a kind of radical exorcist that is looking for an apprentice or needs an apprentice, and I think you would be the perfect fit. And so this is a story of this kind of disgraced priest becoming kind of a rogue exorcist in a very unconventional way. It's very cool. It's very dark, but has that kind of like fun gothic vibe to it. So if that's your speed, you'll definitely want to check that one out.
Next, we have New Champions #1, and this is a new book from Marvel featuring a new team of young heroes. Now, these heroes were originally featured in issues 7 through 10 of Spider Woman from last year, so they're not brand new. This is not their first appearance, but this kind of spins out of that story where these young heroes were originally taken from their families by Hydra in the attempt to make them sleeper agents, but that didn't end up panning out. And now they are trying to be a new team of young heroes, the new champions, but they have to deal with their parents who all know who they are. One of them, Hellrune, is an orphan, and she wants to, or she's a foster child, excuse me, and she wants to find her real parents. But that leads her into trouble, which leads the rest of the new champions into trouble, and maybe even more new champions than what you see on the cover here.
Very cool. Next up, a really fun one. What if Mickey and friends became the Fantastic Four? So they're really going full steam ahead with these what if Disney and Marvel projects. We've had Donald Duck as Wolverine. We've had, what was the Donald Duck as Thor.
Yeah.
This time we've got Mickey and friends as the Fantastic Four. And it's a really fun homage of Fantastic Four #1. Even some panel for panel reshots makes. I looked it up and compared them, and it's really fun to see those. As you've got Mickey as Reed Richards, you've got Minnie as Sue Storm, you've got Goofy as Human Torch Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm is Donald Duck. Even though he's not giant, he's still just as angry. Uh, but this one, it kind of goes through the first couple of stories of the Fantastic Four as they go up against Mole Pete, and we get his origin, and it's just full of like all your Disney kind of gags and fun stuff and fun references and everything. So if you are a fan of that and all the previous issues, this one will not disappoint.
Next, we have All New Venom #2. And no, we do not find out who the All New Venom is in this issue, but one of the suspects is eliminated. So now we are down to just three. And I think one is going to be eliminated each issue, I guess, until we run out and we find out who it is. But Venom is just kind of wandering. It seems like he's wandering around the city. He's just kind of showing up here and there. But we are still sort of led on a wild goose chase. They do kind of make it look like, oh, it might be Robbie, it might be Rick Jones or Luke Cage or whoever. But I just wanted to let you know the new issue is out, and now we are down to just three people who might be the new Venom.
And lastly, for me, I just want to talk about Amazing Spider-Man #65, a very sad issue of Amazing Spider-Man as he faces off against the sister of the previous kind of demon of Siderax from the previous issue, who he beat pretty easily. And this one is the sister, and she doesn't fight with fists or anything like that. She actually seems pretty sympathetic to what Peter has to go through by giving him something that makes him experience horrible loss of people that he loves and kind of makes Peter rethink his whole mission as Spider Man. So, will he turn it around? Probably by the end of this, but it's a really interesting issue, but again, pretty sad.
Mm-hmm. And last for me, we have EC's Cruel Kingdom #1. And much like Epitaphs from the Abyss was an anthology horror book, or Cruel Universe was an anthology sci fi book, this is an anthology fantasy book. So there are four different stories in here, just little short one and dones that are set more with a fantasy flavor, but a couple of them have a little bit of a hint of sci-fi and maybe even a little bit of a hint of horror too. But if you enjoyed the other Epitaphs from the Abyss and Cruel Universe, then I think you'll definitely want to check this one out as well.
Well, that is it for our top 10 quick comic picks. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said before, head on over to infinityflux.net. Right now, you can pre-order these books, so you are guaranteed to get them when they come out this week, but it's while supplies last, because these are live. They're in the shop right now. So whether you shop online or stop by in person, we can't wait to see you or
Yeah.
hear from you. So until next time, see
See
ya.
ya.